I know that you can't see above, like, here, so, we're gonna slouch. Hi! Hello! Today, this is a terrible position. I should just do this later, but I'm gonna forget to do it later because I forget to do a lot of things. Amy and I decided that we're going to do a book swap this year, and I started filming part of this video when I was on vacation, so here is that footage. I just got this in the mail. The School Story by Andrew Clements. Here we go! Amy and I are doing a book swap, and I guess this will be in that video where I'm analyzing. I'm an English major. This, to some degree. I just got this book in the mail. It's the first book from the book swap that Amy and I are doing. We're gonna have 4 books total. This is my fall read, or end of summer read, and it's very useful because I am leaving on vacation tomorrow. Ah! Oh, and the words are big. Oh, there's pictures. I don't know the last time I read a book that had some pictures in it. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm currently in the car waiting for my parents and sister to come back because they went hiking and I couldn't do it because of my hip. And I just finished the first book that Amy sent me for our book swap. It was very good. I started reading it, maybe it took me 3 hours to read. I'm not the fastest reader, but it had pictures, and it had big font, so I was alright with it. It's 196 pages. I liked it. I don't know what Amy wants me to do with it yet. I'll send her a text and say I finished it. Maybe she'll send me a letter with questions, or a text with questions and things to talk about. But yes, I just wanted to let you guys know that I finished it. It is the 22nd of August. My goal each year is to read approximately 100 books. I've probably read about 50 books since I read A School Story. So I have the questions that Amy sent me on this nifty piece of paper that I first lost and she had to mail to me again. Thanks, Amy. And so I shall answer them. First, I'll give a brief summary of the book. In A School Story, I have to remember the summary, so that means what really stuck with me. There are 2 main characters, Natalie and Zoe. Natalie is the main character and Zoe is her friend. They're about 12 years old. Natalie's mom is an author, and Natalie's dad passed away when she was younger, so she does not have a dad. And she endeavors to write a story. Her mom told her what books are popular and which books get sold because her mom is an editor, so she's in the book business. And so Natalie goes and writes a story, and with the help of her teacher and her friend Zoe, they manage to get the book published. Natalie's mom is secretly Natalie's editor. Natalie's mom doesn't know that it's Natalie, but Natalie knows that her mom is her editor, if that made sense. It's a kid book. It's a children's book. It has pictures and it's beautiful. And Amy wrote at the bottom of her letter that she finally found the stamps and that packing for a fire makes you lose things. Packing to go back and forth to school that is 2 hours away makes you lose things because I don't know where I put the book. It had been on my bookshelf at school since August. And then I packed everything up and had to deconstruct my dorm and come back 2-3 weeks ago. So I am at my house. I am still doing school, but there's much less stuff in my dorm room at the moment. So, question 1. In the beginning of the story, Natalie's mom talks about books people want to buy, series books, adventure books, and school stories. Do you think this is true? I think that people will always go for things like series and adventure books. Adventure books especially because they help take you out of yourself. But I think there's something about standalone books, not just series, because people want to find books that they can relate to. So in a way I agree with this. I don't know if I agree with school stories. I spend enough time in school. I don't want to read a school story. That's really funny because the book was called A School Story. Number 2. Between Natalie and Zoe, who do you relate to more, or who would you be more likely to be friends with? Definitely Natalie. I relate to Natalie more. I don't know if I would want to be friends with a Natalie. Kind of like, would you necessarily want to be friends with yourself? If you walked in a room and you saw them and all their mannerisms and such, would you want to be friends with your own self? I feel like that would just be too much if you find someone who's exactly like you. Isn't that why they say opposites attract? You don't want too much of a good thing. Not saying you are a good thing. Not saying you're a bad thing. So I think that I relate more with Natalie. I don't think I would want Zoe as a friend. I think she's a bit too outgoing for me. However, if there was someone in the middle ground between them, I think that'd be more chill. Question 3. How realistic do you think it is that 2 12-year-old girls get a book published? I really, really liked that they were showing that young children could get books published. I think today, with all the technology we have, they could definitely publish something on Wattpad or online or on like a Kindle ebook type thing. I don't know how realistic it is for them to get a... they could get a paper book published too, because I'm in the process of printing out one of the short stories that I've written for school because I wanted to give a bound copy of it to my grandfather. So I think it's entirely possible. I don't know how possible and plausible it is to have the whole editing thing, but I definitely think it is possible for a 12-year-old to publish a book. I don't know if I would read a book by a 12-year-old, but it's definitely possible. I've read my books that I've written from when I was a small child. I don't think that I would just pick that up to read. Question 4. How do you think Natalie sees her mom now that she's not just her mom but also her editor? I think that there are clear distinctions between professions and people. I think in the United States this tends to get blurred because in the US people are their profession. In France, they have a rule that you can't work over 35 hours. So once you've worked 35 hours, you drop what you're doing. Your bosses can't email you over the weekend. You can't do work. And in the US, people are constantly working overtime. Like, my mom just got home. It's 6:30. She's supposed to leave at 4. So it's just something that people do here in America. Your work is your job. But I forget the question. Oh. You have to see people as not just what they do. So I think that distinctions need to be made because people have personalities and characteristics, and the job is what they do, but it's not who they are. So I think that line needs to be drawn, and I think Natalie can appreciate her mom as a parental figure and as a mom, as a supportive person, but then also accept critiques and such from an editor. Number 5. How does Natalie's dad influence the writing of her book? To be honest, I don't really remember. I think her book was about heroes, and so not having a dad when she grew up shaped how she would see a male father figure, I believe. I can't really answer this question because it's been so long since I read the book and I just read these questions. So I don't remember. I am sorry. But it definitely, when they say if you love something, let it go, and you learn from the things that you lose. So in a way, not having a dad makes her more aware of what a dad does than if she did have a dad. Or when you have a dad and then you lose a dad, which is terrible most of the time, depending on the circumstance. You realize how much they did or how little they did. And so in that way, having someone in your life or not having someone in your life is going to obviously shape who you are and who you become and how you view that role in other people's lives. Question number 6. Natalie was a little surprised by rewrites with the editor. What is your least favorite thing about editing a paper? Oh no. Okay, so I work as a tutor at my school's writing center, so I edit papers all of the time. However, there's a difference between There's a difference between editing and tutoring, because tutoring, you're helping the student realize the errors they made, and you're helping them learn so they can work and use those skills on future papers. Editing is more when you take a paper and you just edit it. You put in the commas where there need to be commas, you change punctuation, you change tenses, you do all the work. While editing is nice because you don't have to talk to people as much, and I'm really not a talkative human unless you know me. Like, if you give me a paper, I'd rather take the paper than talk to you. That sounds horrible. It depends what the person is looking for. and how much time there is. I definitely like working one-on-one with someone and working through the paper and being all, okay, so you have this here, why did you put it here? Do you think you can develop it more? How does this relate to the other things in your paper? I think what's difficult is when people just want you to edit and they don't want any feedback. They come in and they say, oh, I need 5 sentences, 5 topic sentences, please. And it's not my job to write your sentences. I guess in a way it is as an editor, but it also isn't, because it's your paper, not mine. And in order for it to remain your paper, it has to be your ideas. I can help you organize them, but I can't do it for you. I don't even know if that answers the question. Question number 7. Lastly, what did you think of this quote? Some people are talkers and some people are writers. Which are you and why? Okay, definitely a writer. It would have been brilliant if I had been wearing my hat. I have a hat that I got at Warner Brothers Studios, and it just says writer on it because they had director, actor, and writer, and I thought it was brilliant because I love writing. Right now it's NaNoWriMo, and I'm very behind. I'm only at 6,000 words, maybe. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to at least be at 12,000 by now, maybe even 15,000. But with all the mess of going to and from school and doctors, it has not been done yet. I definitely think I am more of a writer than a talker. I prefer to speak through written text than to talk in most situations. Once I'm comfortable with someone, I am able to video call them or talk to them face to face. However, even with some of my closest friends, I write letters to them. I don't just go and hang out with them, but I actively write to them. I will pay for stamps and for postage and address the envelope, write a few pages, stick it in the envelope, and mail it to them, and they have to wait a few days to get it. At school, I write letters to my friends who literally live down the hall from me. I will write a letter, I will put it in the campus mail, it'll show up in their mailbox the next day or the day after, and they'll read it and they'll respond. Sometimes we'll talk about the things in the letters before they even get the letters, but that's okay. I feel I don't know. I am definitely more of a writer than a talker. I love writing. I love exploring things through writing. That is this video. Amy and I are going to be doing 4 books. The first book I sent her is Every Last Word by Tamara Stone. So if you want to see her reaction and answer to questions that I sent her, click over here. You can click over here to subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, here's Amy's channel. You should check that out too. As always, thanks for watching.